We'll call the meeting to order. Everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get to citizens to be heard, Commissioner Evans, do we have any opening comments?
Yes, I do have a couple. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're all in this together. Just a reminder, only questions or statements regarding an agenda item will be entertained under citizens to be heard at the top of the meeting. All other matters will be recognized during public comment at the end of the meeting. Smoke from a Distant Fire was a Billboard Top 40 hit for the Sanford Townsend Band in 1977. It actually reached number 9. And it seemed like it was the only thing that was ever playing at Kaminsky's Bar and Grill in Cherry Hill, where I would go to study with my fellow Rutgers students. But this week, the smoke from a distant fire is something real that we can see, smell, and taste. Breathing in the effects of the Canadian wildfires reached the red alert stage today, and it's possible this could last into next week. Please stay inside if you can. Be careful out there if you can't. If it's heavy, wear an N95 mask. Something tells us most of us still have a couple of those on hand. Also remember that our furry family members are just as susceptible as humans, so try to keep their walk short and don't leave them outside for extended periods of time. Times like these remind us that our dedicated public works team is out there in all of it. Just like the old unofficial post office creed says, neither snow nor rain nor heat nor gloom of night. And as summers get hotter, storms get more intense, and smoke from wildfires far away become more widespread, our public works teams will be out there in those elements. If you pass by one of their trucks, try to give them a wave, let them know they're appreciated. Thank goodness Jimmy Jorge and his Latin Express dance concert was last Friday night and not this weekend. There was enough smoke from that stage in a healthy way, without the additional smoke from the wildfires. Again, thanks to Parks and Rec for making all of these wonderful events happen. Today, someone posted on a social media site that a pipe bomb was found by a mailman at an undisclosed location in Thorndale. It wasn't true. Our police department investigated after being alerted to the post, identified the individual responsible for the post, and determined that the post was related to something that happened in January 2020, over 3 years ago. Chief Elias stated, recently and separate from the pipe bomb post, while our department was investigating a potentially dangerous situation involving an abandoned property in the township, gross misinformation was posted by a resident on social media. Unfortunately, when that occurs, it could impede our ability to do our job effectively. It creates confusion and alarm for those impacted. It fuels more misinformation throughout the community and potentially erodes public trust. Sometimes we, meaning the police department, spend a considerable amount of time addressing misinformation, and that takes away from the valuable time that could be spent addressing actual public safety concerns. Please post responsibly. We often say, have a good day. I recently heard a friend say, why don't you give a good day? Yesterday, I was in quite a mood. Driving home from a meeting in unexpected traffic, coming up on a heavy merge, I slowed to allow a merging car in front of me. They got halfway in and slammed on their brakes, causing me to slam on my brakes, causing the car behind me, already accelerating to go around, to almost hit me. I gave a little toot of the horn to ask the guy I just let in to move up a little so it wouldn't get clipped. Well, you know where this is going to go. As with most things these days, my horn was misinterpreted as an attack. The driver I just helped started making a variety of unfriendly hand gestures out his window. I felt ticked off. How dare you, meter going red? Then I thought, I don't want to feel like this. What can I do to make this situation better? I put on my flashers, opened my passenger window, waving disarmingly as I slowly pulled up beside them in case they were packing, and gently said, "Hey, I was just asking you to pull up a little so I don't get hit from behind." They realized they'd misunderstood me and, embarrassed, replied, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were yelling at me." "No," I said, "really. Sorry," they repeated. "No worries." And just like that, we're both smiling, wishing each other well as we went on to do whatever adventures the day would hold for each of us. The lesson for me to remember is people often don't hear what we're trying to say. They tend to hear what they assume we're saying. And that assumption is based on and affected by the multitude of interactions we've already had throughout the day, the good ones, the bad ones, all leading up to that moment. I think on the inside, we all long to be heard, to be understood, but our egos and fears get in the way. It's okay to pause and ask, "I'm not sure if I heard you right. Could you help me understand?" There's very little that can't be fixed if we're willing to humble ourselves long enough to try to understand each other, to let our guard down and give a good day. Spread kindness, everyone. Anger, grudges, and resentments are not worth our time or energy. Compassion, empathy, peace, and love, these are what make the world go round.
Thank you, Commissioner Evans.
Thank you.
When I read that story, I could relate. I think everybody can, relate, in the traffic issues. Yeah. So it's always good to take a moment and pause. Good point. All right, moving right along. Citizens to be heard. These are for agenda items. And we have a couple folks here in the audience. No comments at this time. I know you're on the agenda a little bit later. Yep, exactly. All right.
Kristen, I know you tried to upgrade me when I was talking and I couldn't get over to. I'm sorry.
Do you have that zooming effect?
I like that.
You like the zooming
I
effect?
like people that know this stuff.
Oh, really? All right, no citizens to be heard from Zoom land? None at this time. Yes, Tony, you can approach the podium, please. Tony's asking how many folks are. Seven. All right. Moving right along. We do not have anything from Ms. Camp. So Township Engineer, Carl, welcome.
Yes, good evening. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi. Hi. Three quick items on the agenda, and if time, a quick update on the bridge. Item number 1 on the agenda is a request for consideration of payment. Application number 1 for Lobar Site Development Corp. In the amount of $270,724.72, and this is for the Municipal Drive Bridge Replacement Project. This is their first pay application.
Commissioners, any questions?
Let's get them paid and get it done.
Yes.
It always looks like they're busy, but it looks like nothing's getting done. It's amazing.
We did set we had a crane day last week and set the footers. Monday we're setting the arches, so you're going to see something very visible very soon.
that we can identify with.
Yeah. The bridge will start taking shape Monday.
Okay.
Now I walked out there, was it yesterday or the day before? I saw the footings already laid down, but I also saw water, I guess due to the rains. Did that affect anything?
No, they still have a pump around system that's bypassing the creek. Then they do have small electrical pumps that are in little depressions that's keeping the area dry. So the water shouldn't be causing any buoyancy on those footers. It's all
okay. And on the letter itself, I don't know if it's a typo or not. The first sentence you had 270,000, and the second sentence was 274,000. So
Yeah, the 274 is incorrect. That should be stricken. The 270 is the correct amount.
Okay.
And I can provide a revisal if I'll
Yeah,
do a
just so it's in
follow-up
the
letter to
record.
fix that.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions on this? Residents? Tony, no questions? You did, yeah.
Big pumps or the little pumps?
Yeah, no, Scott was out there with me and he thought it was the rain that filled in that cavity area. Didn't we
big
have
pump
rain
did
like
go-
a couple days ago?
A little bit.
Yeah.
a little trace. The big pump did go down 2 weeks ago before the footers were set. Was it a while ago? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Okay.
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 So I did drive by Saturday and Sunday myself just to confirm that the pumps were running.
Hmm. But it looks good so far. Looking
Good,
forward
yes,
to
it's-
Monday.
Taking shape. Monday, there's 7 individual arches. So the cranes drop in. It's not just one piece, it's 7 that they have to fit together. And those arches key right into the footers that are already in place in the ground. So there's 0 tolerance. They fit right together like Lego bricks.
But what time are they gonna start?
In the morning, around 7 o'clock, the crane should arrive. It takes about an hour to set the crane up, so it'll be morning work that they're setting it. So swing on by.
I'll try to drive by then. No questions from Zoom World? All right, Commissioners, I will entertain a motion to approve payment to Lobar Site Development.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Tindaro. This is in the amount of $270,724.72. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion's good, 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 2, request for consideration of payment, application number 2 for more construction services. This one's in the amount of $73,755. This is for the South Lloyd Avenue Stream Bank Restoration Project. The project is completed. This is pay app 2. Sorry, it's a small print again. I'm working on that. This one, we did strike out an item at the end and then I redlined the pay app. So the accurate amount is $73,755.
And what was reduced on that? I was trying to figure that out from the math.
That was a not approved change order request. After all the work was done, they put a line item in here for, I think it was, they painted the line a little bit longer on the road. So they're trying to sneak in a extra. And
Yeah, the difference was $1,111.50.
so that was not agreed upon and not approved by the board, and so not part of the contract.
All right, so the amount, because once again, on this letter, the first sentence had 74,000, the original, and then the second is the actual.
Yeah, they requested a 74,866, but we struck the line item 12. The correct amount we're asking for payment is the 73,755.
Commissioners, any questions on this?
No.
Simple. Residents, any questions? None in Zoom world? Nope. No comments at this time. Commissioners, entertain a motion to approve payment to Moore Construction Services in the amount of $73,755.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Kennedy, second by Commissioner Tindaro. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion's good, 5-0. Next.
All right, thank you. Last item. This is a request for consideration for a compensating change order. This is to KBC Construction in the amount of $6,915. This is for the work that was done on the North Bailey Road drainage improvements. And specifically, this was related to during construction. We did come across an unfortunate situation. The gas and water mains underground were not where they were reported to be. They get painted out in the beginning of the project. When the work reached that area, they were in a different location. Pipe had to be dug a little bit further, deeper, in order to duck under those lines. We contemplated, Water Authority showed up and we asked them if they could be moved. That was going to cause a much greater delay and expense. So it was a field fit to go under the main.
And how far off were they? I mean, that is kind of discerning.
The gas main was where it was painted. The water main moved 45 degrees out into the road and 45 degrees back. So the water main was put in where the old gutter inlet box was in the ground. That line was the main one that was in conflict. The elevations of the pipes, those aren't really known when we do the locating services, and mostly utility companies don't have as-built that show the depth of them.
Mhm.
So whenever you call the Pennsylvania One Dig call, they come out and use a metal detector, and they can find with great accuracy where they are in the horizontal. But this vertical depth was in the way as well. So the stormwater pipes had to move around both of these mains and go a little bit deeper. When it went deeper, they excavated quite a bit more and they backfilled quite a bit more.
Thankful that nobody hit the gas line.
Yeah, that's true.
If it was that far off, yeah.
It worked out, but
Okay.
there was an extra cost. This is about 4% of the overall budget that was in the project. Still an increase, but in the end, about $6,900.
So,
But they had been
Still right in
liable,
the budget.
yeah.
Still right in the budget?
Uh, it's it's an extra. It's a 6,900 on top of what the original estimates were.
We were still under budget for the project.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. And
And
just,
I might have missed a question, Ms.
Oh,
Kennedy.
Oh, no, I
Jane?
was asking in the event that there had been an incident, would they have been responsible, liable for any
No, when you
damages to
use
it?
PA1 call, when they paint these lines, if you encounter them in a different location, the utility companies have to pick that up. They can't blame anybody from their documents and the services they use.
Wow.
So that's why every project is a PA1 call.
good to know. You also mentioned here in your letter that you are not charging us the additional $1,000 for for the riser section of this.
Yeah,
And we
that-
appreciate that.
Well, thank
Maybe you can just elaborate a little bit.
Sure. So in this specific project, all the bid line items for the project were things that we considered in the scope of the work, and just excavation and fill were the additions. The extra item that wasn't in the bid form, that wasn't part of the project, was a 2-foot concrete box riser section. Since it wasn't in the original bid form, we worked with Kristen and Ray throughout the change order project. A little bit after the fact of discovery in the field, and we thought since it wasn't part of the scope, this is a thing that the Arrow could pick up.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Okay, thank you.
Right. So, commissioners, any questions on this? Residents? No comments at this time. Entertain a motion to approve change order for KBC Construction in the amount of $6,915.
So moved.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Kennedy, second by Commissioner Tindaro. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion's good, 5-0. Carl, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Kristen, and come on out Monday for bridge work.
All righty,
Yeah, I wanna check.
looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah.
All right, next on the agenda, with Township Manager, Ms. Denny. What do we got going on?
Yes, the very first thing is we wanted to start setting some dates to get the zoning reviews back in progress. The solicitor and myself and the county have been trying to review the existing changes. They have reviewed them and they have given us some suggestions of additional things that need to be added for it to be a complete ordinance. So at the next meeting, before our next regular meeting on June 29th at 6:30, we want to schedule 6:30 to 7:30 on June 29th and 6:30 to 7:30 on July 13th to get this back in order.
Good to me. Yeah, we need to get.
What
yeah.
were those? I'm sorry, what were the dates? The,
June 29th and July 13th.
Yeah, it's the next next two meetings we have. We're just gonna start early, 6:30.
And would you mind, could you share the comments from the county with the people in the subgroup that we're working on that?
I think we should just share them with everybody.
Yeah, just send it out.
everybody's
Yeah,
working
send
on
it
Because
them,
they
so-
were just draft ideas. They weren't, we hadn't fleshed it out yet. And I can say that the three people on that subgroup put hundreds of hours into that. So it'd be nice if we had an idea of where we went right, where we went wrong, and how we can,
Okay, well,
get
just
ahead
be
of
shared
it.
with everybody. That's the easiest
that would
way.
be great. Thanks. That would be Adam, the board, and Adam.
Yep, that's fine.
Perfect.
The next item is updates on Geo Carlson emergency repairs and bid tabulation. I did see that Ross is on here and Ray Stackhouse is also on here. Ross has been working on this and we had got a bid tab on this to award of a contract to E&K Construction Services in the amount of $59,995 for wall repairs along Geo Carlson. Ross, anything that you want to add to that?
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that we reached out to 5 bidders to get pricing, and all 5 of them responded. And 3 of the 5 were within the anticipated range that we had for the project, which we were thinking that cost would be somewhere between $50,000 and $75,000. And the low bidder is essentially about $60,000. So that was within our range. And we've worked with this company a number of times, and we're very confident that they have the skills needed to do this work.
Perfect. Commissioners, any questions on this? Ross, it's good to see you.
You too.
Where's the jacket and tie?
I forgot. This is summer, you know.
Yeah, I understand. All right, any questions from residents? Tony, come on up to the podium. Ross, you want to explain that?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the question.
He's just asking what type of repairs are we doing there? What type of
Yep. So the retaining wall, which is on the south side of Geo Carlson Boulevard, the wall is right next to the road. And what we've gathered is that there was a vehicle impact on the guide rail, which then caused the post to hit the wall. And so the wall is buckling out towards the adjacent property. And if you walk up there, you can actually see daylight through a whole bunch of joints of the blocks that make up the wall. And so there was a risk of collapse there. And what the temporary repair will do is it'll go in, and there's basically a stack of like very heavy concrete blocks, pretty much right adjacent to the wall, and then some timber shoring that is built right against the wall pieces that are coming out. And there's some steel braces that then extend at an angle down to the ground, and some other concrete blocks that are embedded in the ground. So basically there's a big heavy wall that's pushed up right against where the existing wall's leaning, and then that's supported by basically steel beams that are onto a heavy embedded concrete block.
I mentioned before, the other when that other side, the north side, was falling in, there were some boulders in the stream there, hold the wall up. I don't know what type of repair we'll do is here then to make that type of repair. I don't know if you've ever seen it. But the wall on the north side, if you've been out there.
Ross, can you hear him?
I can hear little bits here and there.
Okay.
On the north side, the wall was falling in years ago, about 2 years after they did that road. And then they took and dumped boulders into the stream. Now, of course, the boulders block the stream. Now, there's not just a few, there's a lot of them, like 2 truckloads of dump truckloads
I'm not
holding
sure.
that wall up.
I'm not sure if Ross is informed
hear
of
me,
that
Ross?
information, but
Yeah, I
Ray-
can.
I'm sorry.
I hear you.
I'm just
Yeah,
concerned,
I hear you,
concerned
and
is the stream, not, I mean, the road is, you can come up with a different idea than that, but, it blocks the stream. It keeps the water from running from your neighborhood, my neighborhood. It retained, now you're doing Barley Sheaf Road, and you're gonna bring more water down. I guess that water's coming down to this area.
That could be the particular location where this issue is occurring with the retaining wall is out of the flow path of the water, so we're not right against the actual creek or its banks. We're a little bit upgrade of that, so I think we don't really have any issues where our work would be impeding the
I'm
stream.
talking the other side. I was talking the north side.
Right.
I think Ray had addressed this last time, or maybe Ray is.
Yeah, but
Yeah, okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
addressing it and doing something is two different things. That's
Well,
blocking the stream,
yeah,
that's paying
yeah.
away the water.
So-
Well,
I said, you're
we'll
doing
have
barley
Ray
sh-
take a look at it. Yeah.
When
All
you're,
right.
you're doing the barley sheaf, to
Mhm.
carry more water down.
Commissioner,
It's not, barley sheaf won't carry more water. It'll just, that it won't wash away every time it rains. That barley sheaf it's carrying the same amount of water that it carries today. It's just so that it doesn't wash away every time.
How do you mean that?
So that water was in that gully before,
So we get a hard rainstorm, instead of being on the road, or being
it
It'll
went
be-
down that gully before. That's where all the water went before, and it would wash out those people's driveways every time it rained.
I know what you mean.
So that is just to reinforce that swale. That's what that's for.
That's all that's doing.
Yeah, there's not extra water being dumped in there.
I know there's no water gonna be dumped in, but if it can carry more water, is what I said.
It can carry more water, but it's not coming from, we're not dumping any more water in there.
I think let's let Ray investigate
Yeah.
and come back.
Yeah,
Ray's he's having some technical problems. Ray, can you hear us?
yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but I think everybody was
Barely.
talking over you.
I didn't
so-
know he was trying to speak.
Yeah,
Right.
sorry about that. So, what Tony's talking about is actually a project that's going to be coming before the commissioners to for approval to be bid out. What Tony's talking about is that the embankment, not a wall, had eroded from the stream and severely undermined the pipe and the end wall. And then those stones were put in there to try to fix that several years ago, and it just continued to erode and fail. But that's actually a project that's being designed currently.
So you say there's the other
Going to
project.
be, yes, there's going to be a project
There's a project coming up.
for the north end
Okay,
of that culvert.
all right.
That
thank
should
you.
answer that. Thanks, Tony. Thank you, Ray. Good. Continue, Miss Denny. Or we need to vote on the E&K
Yes.
Construction Services. Was there any other comments from residents?
Not at this time.
Commissioners, entertain a motion to approve the contract with E&K Construction Services in the amount of $59,955.
So moved.
$995. I apologize.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Kennedy. Excuse me, all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Good, 5-0. Moving right along. What about this Beaver Creek Trail?
So the next item on here is that the township is going to apply for a mini grant in the amount of $7,500. There are some wetlands in the area of the Beaver Creek Trail that need to be assessed and have some surveying done. So we just needed a letter in support from the board saying that you authorize us to apply for this.
Commissioners, any questions on this?
I think this is the one isn't the match covered on this? Isn't it
Yeah, it's just the 7,500 mini grant. That's all it is.
that's it. Excellent. Yeah, I'm all for this.
Okay. Residents, any questions? Tony, come on up. Gonna complain about trails. Go
You will
ahead.
not be allowed on the trails.
Hey, Ross, I get it at both meetings.
I don't,
You see
Ross.
this?
Yeah, this is not fair to you, Paul.
Um,
Go ahead, Tony.
at one of the meetings, I guess, when you started this,
Mhm.
this trail, it's $8 million.
Yes, please
You haven't
speak
got-
into the microphone because
I'm
people
sorry.
out there can't hear.
So you haven't got a grant yet
Yes, we have
for,
for design,
and
for design.
how much was that?
I believe it was $65,000, and we've
Okay,
just applied for another grant.
And the grant, the trail's what, 8 million, 8.1 million?
It's done in pieces, Tony.
Yes.
Pardon me?
It's done in pieces,
Yeah.
and then the grants are applied in pieces. It's not,
I'm asking about the grant. So did you get a grant or didn't you?
Yes, we did.
For the trail, not the design.
Well, you have to design it before you can build it.
You just told me that, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, I'm just asking the question.
Yeah.
I don't want to see $8 million come out of my taxes.
yeah.
See? How you been doing, buddy?
All right, thank you, Tony.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Any
The
other?
next is the review of the LED project progress and payment requests. This project, I would say, is about 80% complete. The parts of the community that haven't been completed is because we're still waiting on the fixtures. They've been ordered. We're just waiting for them.
Mhm.
So we have a request on here for approval for payment to Armor and Sons in the amount of $98,000, $744.43 for the installation of the LED retrofit lighting.
Commissioners, any questions on this?
I believe that the section that's not done, I think you said, is it Lincoln Highway, right?
Yeah, just the
Yeah.
business section of it. Yeah.
Most
Okay.
important.
Part that we're all dying to see.
The one we really want.
Okay.
I will say they do make a big difference at the intersections. You can actually see now when you pull up to the
Mhm.
Can
intersection.
actually see.
Especially the one night I drove home and it was 340 and Longview Drive, and you could actually see the intersection coming up from
Wow.
down the road.
Mhm.
You could see the
Mhm.
intersection, so you could see if somebody was there
Hmm.
before you actually
Wow.
got there.
That's nice.
No questions from residents? Entertain a motion to approve the payment to Armor and Sons in the amount of $98,744.43.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Young, second by Commissioner Tindaro. All in favor? Say aye.
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 Motion's good, 5-0. Let there be light, right?
Yes.
Figured I'd get a bigger chuckle out of that one. Let there be light. Okay. Next.
The next item is a request for approval for payment to Keystone Lighting Services in the amount of $7,528.63 for the administration and management of the LED conversion project.
Questions on that, commissioners? None at this time. Any questions from residents? None at this time. Commissioners, entertain a motion to approve the payment to Keystone Lighting Services in the amount as stated.
So moved.
So moved and second. Am I right here? Moved by Commissioner Young, second by Commissioner Evans. All in favor? Say aye.
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 Motion's good, 5-0. Next on the agenda.
The next item on the agenda is for an easement approval for 50 James Buchanan for the Geo Carlson emergency repairs. Again, this item is in relation to all of the issues that we're dealing with along Geo Carlson, and to clean up all of the streams in that area. We actually did just get the permit to come through to do that work.
What section is that? James Buchanan.
That's where Human Services is.
Okay, that's what I thought. And what are they doing there? And Ray, maybe Ray can chime in, but are they reconstructing the underneath of it, or are we already done this? Because I know
Yeah,
they did work in there prior. Ray?
Yeah, commissioners, we did some work in the stream closer to Geo Carlson. We cleaned out the culverts and dredged some of the stream under an emergency DEP permit. This permit will cover the upper section from where the water dumps into that channel from Lincoln Highway and on the other side of Lincoln Highway. And then it crosses the two access drives in the 50 James Buchanan. The work will be to remove gravel bars and install new pipe under those driveways and end walls on either side so that those driveways don't wash out in the future.
Okay, would you be closing off those entranceways and repairing that section of the road? Or,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes, we have an easement. Yeah, we have that easement agreement. And part of that, we will coordinate with 50 James Buchanan on when we can close one and use one, and then vice versa.
okay, perfect. I know it needs it.
Yeah.
Commissioners, any other questions on that? Residents, any questions? No questions or comments at this time. Commissioners, entertain a motion to approve the easement for 50 James Buchanan.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor? Say aye.
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 Okay, motion's good, 5-0. Thank you, Ray. Next on the agenda, we have ordinance and resolutions for consideration. First one, request for consideration to adopt resolution 2023-15, a resolution establishing guidelines for the use and operation of mobile food facilities within the township.
So do you want a motion first or you want to talk about it first?
Yeah, let's discuss.
Okay.
Is,
So-
food trucks, hey.
Can somebody talk about the impetus of this?
Either I or Mr. Stackhouse could, as we know, food trucks are becoming much more popular everywhere. And we are getting complaints from residents, businesses, that people are showing up and how long will they be here? What's their hours of operation? Do they have food handlers licenses? So on and so forth. Ray, if you want to talk about what led you to approach this?
Yeah, so for several years, unfortunately, our zoning ordinance and no ordinance that we have really addresses food trucks other than, a temporary structure, temporary use. And what we've been finding with the increase in popularity of food trucks, we wanted to make sure that the food trucks were able to operate within Callan Township, under, a regulated activity, and also assure that they have, again, a food handler's license, and they have the fire protection requirements they need to operate properly. I did talk to several food truck handlers, and while it may initially cost them a little bit more money to install some of the things that are required, I think they'll be happier, and you will see more food trucks operating in Callan Township in a safer manner.
So the way I read this, even if you had this at your own house in the driveway for a party, you would need a permit for this?
You still are supposed to have a permit to operate for the year. That's correct.
Because it's saying the permit, you have to give a scaled plan specifying location of the facility, structural calculations, which I'm just not sure that
Yep.
for a driveway, we're going to be providing structural calculations.
Commissioner, if you read, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
Yeah,
you.
and fully dimensioned site plans indicate spacing from existing buildings, structures, curbs, driveways, sidewalks, parking lights, poles, and other poles and apparatuses. I think some of this is overkill, in my opinion.
And I understand your concern. We have the same regulations for, fences, for sheds, for all those things, and we don't get carried away with them. When it comes to you'll read in there sometimes it's really up to the discretion of, of the permit reviewer. So as an example, if somebody's setting up a single food truck in, and I'll use Jeffers because I know they plan on using food trucks, that wouldn't be something that would require, detailed calculations. Where the reason that we have that is because if you have a larger venue that may have up to 3 food trucks and the possibility of being approved to have multiple with signage, menu boards, all that, then that's where you're going to want those, those increased regulations. Somebody having a single food truck at a birthday party or even the Park and Recs committee, having these at our events, those kind of regulations, that in-depth information in detail would not be required.
Here's an example. Today, I was traveling Manor Avenue, and a gentleman literally had a huge barbecue pit that he just set up on the side of the road. So that is what we're not worried about the person that gets the icy truck or the Rita's truck for a kid's birthday party and is there 3 or 4 hours. We're trying to regulate because we now have people that are just showing up in people's parking lots or right of way.
So I'm okay with that. I think we should tailor this to that, not because what scares me is leaving it up. I don't like, well, the reviewer can just ignore those parts of the, I'm not in favor of.
It could cause problems down the road. And I want food trucks and I want them to be regulated. I want them to be able to be here. I had actually looked at done a little study of the average cost in Pennsylvania. I believe that in Chester County, they still have to get something through the county, don't they?
You have to get the
Top
Food
right.
handlers
food
license, now.
handlers.
Also, there's
Fire safety.
if your county is under a county health department jurisdiction, you should contact them directly for licensing. Okay. They the state had their estimated fees, which ours weren't too bad around them at all. The estimated was $241, and I think ours is $250 annually. We're giving, I think, 2 free inspections, and the average ones you have to pay for the inspections. One of my questions would be, from what I saw in the state, the annual renewal fee, if for someone who's already gone through the process, their annual renewal fee is less. It's $82 average compared to the $241 for a new license. I'd like to, I can only speak for myself. I'd like to streamline this a little bit. Like some of the language that kind of got Josh's ears pricked up got mine too. I would like to get this in fast, but I also want to make sure that it's welcoming.
We could always table it till the next meeting if the board wants to take more time with it.
I just think we should tailor it to the commercial
Yeah.
districts and rights of way. And, I don't know that, a small ice cream shop showing up to somebody's kid's birthday party really needs a permit so much.
I don't disagree, but again, the area that I saw today wasn't a commercial district, and I get what the intent is. I think we just need to add a little bit of language that says if this is a private residential event, because that, the area that they were in Manor, it was residential.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. And the other thing I don't like is, well, we don't have to follow that part of the rule for everybody. So
No, I think we can just tweak it to say, licenses for private residential events, and almost a temporary event, if so to speak.
And I didn't want to insinuate that we could change the rules, but
Oh no, Ray, we didn't take you that way. No.
And I was just saying everywhere in zoning, everything's up to the discretion of the zoning officer. So if there's any kind of interpretation about if there's additional information needed or not required, that's even in the building code. So I just wanted to mention that. And the other thing, and I'm fine with tweaking it. That's why we send it to you. There's no problem with that at all. I just want you to also know that right now we are regulating them under an operational permit for the fire code, which is the same price, $150.
I couldn't hear that, Ray. Say that again.
Right now we regulate them under the fire code as an operational permit, and they still pay the $250, and they have to have the same inspection. This ordinance just helps clarify when they can operate, where they can operate, and it benefits the food truck operator as well as assuring the township has some regulation over those things from that perspective.
Yeah, and I think there's some good things in here, like written consent from the property owner. That's a good thing to have in there, because you don't, like the old Kmart, when it was nothing, people would just set up shop in there.
Right.
So without consent from the owner. So I think there's some good things in here. I think we just need to tweak it.
Whose food truck ordinance did we kind of?
Several. We took several of them. Lancaster City, Phoenixville Borough. I kind of pulled from a couple Kristen Camp gave me a kind of a draft body, I think from maybe London Grove, but I looked up some from like I said, Lancaster City, and Phoenixville are two specifically.
Awesome. Thank you, Ray.
Right, yep. Excuse me, to differentiate, if I can get that out, the mobile food facility or the mobile truck compared to somebody pulling up and just breaking out a barbecue like you mentioned. What's the difference, and how do we clarify that? In
Somebody just breaking out a barbecue wouldn't be
Regulated.
yeah, it wouldn't be allowed. You know, and again, it is a difference when it is a restaurant that decides they want to do a special event and they bring in, you know, to do, you know, some equipment to do an outside barbecue. That's different than this. This is just somebody that just pulled up in a right of way and set up a barbecue. That is what we're trying to prevent from happening. If you do not meet the requirements of the regulation for, you know, the fire code, NFPA, and the health department, we could then say, you know,
close up shop.
right.
Okay.
And that, you know, that's really the intent, and we also want to have hours of operating, you know, because we have a situation that's alleged that there's a food truck operating outside the hours of the business is open, and the residents around are complaining. So that's another thing that we're trying to curb.
Excuse me, would that be the same if someone wanted to just do a pop-up clothing thing on the side of the road?
A pop-up what? I'm sorry,
Well, this is
Commissioner.
food.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, this is
Like
only dealing with food
food,
trucks.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be, if that, I mean, I personally haven't seen, I'd have to see it to know, or Ray would have to see it to be able to give you an answer. You know, if it's accessory to the use, if it's a retail facility, then, you know, it kind of is,
Yeah.
it's on a case-by-case basis.
okay.
Yeah, like Goodwill doing a pop-up outdoor clothing rack
But
sale
they're
would
established, so that's
would be okay.
Yeah,
But
that's
somebody
But
on the back of
somebody-
the trunk of their car.
Yeah,
yes.
Set up a pop-up, you know.
Correct. What, by zoning, we don't allow like rug sale, people pulling up a box truck and selling rugs out of the back of a box
Yeah.
truck. That's not prevented by zoning.
Okay. Thank you.
Now where you get your speakers from?
Can't do it, Mark.
Back of a van. Okay, and the only other thing I just noticed in there was a limit of 3 food trucks at any given moment. And at our community day, do we have more than that?
We don't just have food trucks, and we also aren't subject to our own ordinances.
Okay,
And there is a, if you read through there's a section again that with special permission from the zoning
Okay.
officer or the building code official, having additional food trucks and extending the time period based on a special event can be approved.
okay. Okay, well, commissioners, why don't we pass along to Ray and Kristen our comments? Maybe we can revisit this the next meeting. Any other comments? Residents? Nothing. None at this time. Next, we have consideration to adopt resolution 2023-16, amending the resolution. Oh, this is the fee.
Yeah,
For the
so
food
we
truck,
can
so-
also just move that. to
So
the
we'll
next
just
agenda.
table that one as well. Number 3, consider to adopt resolution 2023-17, authorizing the execution of the intergovernmental cooperation agreement with, for the purpose of joining with other municipalities as a member of the Chester County Emergency Response Commission. This is with the police department. And
Correct.
there's, 4 or 5 other townships involved in this. I know we signed this last year in October, and this is just an annual agreement.
Correct.
Commissioners, any questions on this?
No.
Right. And if, just looking here, we have East Vincent, Kennett Township, Schuylkill Township, Downingtown Borough, and Tredyffrin, along with ourselves. Any questions from residents? None at this time? Commissioners, entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Kennedy, second by Commissioner Tindaro. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion's good, 5-0. Finance Department. Request for consideration to approve the accounts payable list. The bills, check number 50,177 to 50,240. No manual check. Questions, comments? If not, entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Tindaro, second by Commissioner Young. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Checks have been approved. Now we have Board of Commissioner minutes for May 25th for approval. Commissioners, any questions, additions?
No, I had sent Denise a couple of possible, tweaks to verbiage.
Yes. Yeah, so did I. Yeah, Denise, you got everything updated on that? Okay. Commissioners,
She's great, by the way. I can't believe. No, I can, because I do this with the Historical Commission minutes. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a 2-3 day job typing that stuff up.
I read all 5,000 pages of her minutes and I felt like I was at the meeting.
Yeah.
Of course, I was at the meeting, but I felt like I relived the meeting. How's that? Very good, Denise. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for this.
Thank you.
Commissioners, entertain a motion to approve minutes.
So moved.
Second.
So moved by, I'm gonna go with Commissioner Kennedy, second by Commissioner Evans. Quick third by Commissioner Tindaro. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion's good, 5-0. Moving on to the board and commission updates. This is our bread and butter, right?
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
Not meat and potatoes. I
Just
went
want-
Park and Rec.
Just want to thank everybody who took time away from their busy schedules to come out for the concert with Jimmy Jorge and the Latino Express. I heard it was a very well attended evening. So again, thank you and look forward to seeing everyone as the summer progresses. Our next event will be a movie in the park on July 7th, Puss in Boots at 8:30 p.m. We're also going to be participating on August the 1st in the National Night Out, and that will be in collaboration with the Calhoun Township Police Department. Everybody's getting excited for the big event, so let's make sure we support our historical commissions for the Spackman Farm event for the town tours. It's going to be spectacular. You don't want to miss that. And again, mark your calendars, July 20th. 2022. Are there going to be fireworks there too, Mark? Cannons? No fireworks. And also be reminded, because the summer's going to be busy. I know families got a lot of vacations, and just remember we're going to be here. We're going to try to have some nice events going on for the families and getting ready for our community day, which will be held on September 9th.
Ninth.
And that's going to be a big event. So we're working on these various events to make sure that we can keep some events going on for families during the summer. Thank you.
All right. And just a comment about Park and Rec. I attended Monday's meeting. I had someone actually ask me about the dog park. They have little chihuahuas, and they were wondering if they could gate in a little area,
Oh, for the little
for
ones.
the little doggies. And I just said, okay, I'll bring it up, at the meeting and see what they say. And apparently there's other interest. So
They do that in New York. I can tell
Oh,
you.
do
Them
they?
a little
Yeah.
separate,
There's-
safe
there's-
place.
Inside there's a smaller section for small dogs. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's a good
The
idea.
problem with that is in the dog park section, it's in the floodplain. That's why there was never a
Mm.
fence erected.
Right.
well, they can swim. Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
So yeah.
The
So
fence
well,
can't, but
Ah.
the dogs
apparently,
can.
yeah. Apparently there was some interest. So it's up to the Park and Rec.
I know when we went to construct that, we wanted the fence all the way along there, so
Yeah.
it would block the dogs. That's why the bushes were planted there that didn't survive. But basically, what's built there is where the floodplain is not.
Mhm.
where everywhere else the floodplain is there. So that we wanted to build a small section for dogs and stuff, but we're unable to at the time
Oh, okay.
because of the floodplain. But I'm sure if we went through the processes, we could probably find a way to do that. But
Mhm.
I'm not sure whether you could construct in the floodplain
Well, if it's possible, but yeah, you got a really good group of folks there in Park and Rec. Was it Helen and Ann? They were actually, I stopped out at the dog park Wednesday. They were with Abby, who is a saint. Abby was out there and they were collecting along the stream there some invasive plants. And these folks from our Park and Rec are out there. There's a couple other folks, I didn't know their names. But you got to give them kudos for
Yeah,
what
they
they're
do. They
attempting.
go in.
Yeah.
We saw Ann out there a week ago, and
Oh.
they're doing tests, plant tests to see what can survive urine tests.
Yes.
You know,
Mm.
it's so cool what they're doing. And I just saw a couple of months ago one of their wonderful members had suggested starting rather than just the whole town cleanup day, starting a town cleanup crew, people who can do it at different times throughout the year.
Mhm.
And I saw posted on their on the website that they're starting to organize that. And
Abby
it's-
setting up
yeah.
another date, I think,
Yeah.
for Northcon Road. I believe they're going to try to. I don't recall the date that she said, but I
Abby's
know she'll post
ridiculous. I don't know how she does it.
yeah, she's
Yeah.
force to be reckoned with. Love it. But yeah, it was great to see. In fact, around the two benches that were donated there, they had planted those trees that they were gonna see if they could handle the pet urine. But apparently the guys who cut the grass weed whacked all the
Oh my God.
little
Gonna have to put
plants that they-
something around. it.
yeah. So
Protect it.
so they need some help too.
Trial
So
and error.
always-
Yes, they do. They
Always
need a
looking for
lot of help.
volunteers. All right, next is COG.
For COG, I was not in attendance at the meeting, but I do know that they met at the Chester County Fire Training Facility in South Coatesville with the intention on, again, pursuing training for high school, middle school students. And what they're trying to do is to get curriculums built into many of the school districts. I understand that it's very active in Avon Grove, and they're trying to get it up and running in the Coastal School District, where they're permitting students to train in a lot of these facilities so that by the time they graduate, they have enough credits to become certified firefighters and to be certified to work and prepared to go into the police academy. So this is really good because with employment shortages and not having enough people interested in getting into these careers, they're now building curriculums for high school students to begin to earn credits that will be able to be transferred for their certification. So I know these things are ongoing, as well as I'm trying to get scholarship opportunities for students that would be interested in getting into local government careers and professions. So that's kind of, a rehash of what COG is really doing. They're working on a new website. I do know that. And so a lot of these things will be accessible to everyone. It's not up and running now, but I know it's something that's in the works. So they got a lot of good stuff going on. It's kind of like a new administration there, but they're working. And I think this big project at the fire safety training, it actually started at 5:30. I get off work at 6:30. So they were a little early that night because of the facility where they wanted to host the event. But I think it's working well, and a lot of students are already entering the workforce after graduation through this initiative. Thank you.
Jane. I'm actually going to start with Dara. The Dara board is continuing to review the options related to the draft concept plan for the Dara treatment plant upgrades that will be necessary to properly provide for the additional 1 million gallons of treatment capacity currently sought out by the 5 municipalities of Dara. And I believe there's a meeting tomorrow with the township managers as well as the liaisons to discuss hopefully the the upgrades there. With CTMA, our meeting, we discussed heavily the cost of sending our sewage over to PAWC versus the cost of the plant upgrades over at Dara. And no matter how you do the math, the costs for the Dara upgrades are less expensive in the long run for this township. So we are hoping that we can come to an agreement over with Dara to finally get this done. We've been trying to get that plant upgraded and more capacity out of it for 15 years, maybe longer.
Maybe longer.
Yeah. So hopefully we can finally get to that point. But it takes all 5 municipalities to agree. That's our challenge. All right, and next fire board, I did not attend the last fire board, but we do have the agreement between the fire board and the township. Just needs to be approved by the township, and once again, we can get that approved for the year. All right, and historical commission. We don't have anything going on with historical commission, do we?
My God,
No.
all we do is sleep. All we do is sleep.
Yeah.
The Historical Commission met on Wednesday, May 17th. We had a quorum with 7 of our 11 members in attendance, plus 2 guests. That was a pretty low attendance, but everybody had to be out of town for various reasons. We had updates from all but one of our subcommittees. The primary focus was planning for the upcoming July 20th Historic Town Tour and Village Walk at Spackman Davis Farm. The TTVW Steering Committee offered details of their meetings to the full commission and presented a storyboard they've been developing. That storyboard was then presented right here at the May 25th Board of Commissioners meeting. Unless something pressing and unexpected comes up between now and July 20th, the tour is all we'll be working on. Steering Committee met at the farm on June 3rd, thanks to who? Abby Swan, who generously volunteered part of her day off to be there with us. We completed cleaning the schoolhouse, smokehouse, and spring house, gotten started inside of the farmhouse, and now we all have a clear vision of how the sets will be staged. Ray Stackhouse, Mr. Huggins, and the Public Works team have been off the charts helpful with clearing poison ivy and repairing a few items that needed attention. Tom Parr and I believe Chris and maybe even Alicia will be at the farm a few times between now and next Friday to get the big lifts out of the way. Off the record, Tom Parr is already getting my nomination for Town Volunteer of the Year. All those little book sharing, he built all that.
Yep.
I mean, all he does is do things for this township
Wow.
out of love. Speaking of volunteers, at the 2023 Chester County Historical Preservation Network Volunteer Recognition Dinner, Wednesday, June 21st, Count Township Historical Commission will be presented with the Chester County Historic Preservation Network Township Award for our work at bringing Spackman Davis Farm back from the dead. This annual dinner is generally only attended by historical commissions, preservationists, and Chester County history buffs, but it is open to the public. So if you want to come out and cheer on your very own historical commission, I believe tickets are still available and at only $25 each for a
Yeah,
buffet
that's
and to
super
see people walk around in revolutionary wardrobe. It's a bargain.
I burn you far apart.
Our next meeting, our June meeting, will be next Wednesday, the 14th at 7 p.m. You can join us right here live or from home via Zoom. We're a fun group who like getting things done. Please consider coming to one of our meetings.
Cool.
I bought my ticket.
I heard.
I did, and then I got one in the mail for free. So
Yeah. I don't know that.
What?
they did, yeah. I guess because
Have a
I'm a board
ticket,
member.
but,
But yeah.
I didn't get one for free.
Paid.
Well, they can use it. Yeah, Jim told me that,
I already paid. Yeah.
I think we have
Hmm?
15, including yours, 15
I think
Okay.
tickets sold for just Callan.
Wow.
So, yeah.
big show, big.
Mark, do we need tickets or as long as we've paid, we can,
Yeah, there's a list. You're on the,
okay.
so,
Mhm.
yeah, there's,
So you
Thanks.
have the list?
yes,
Okay, can I put me on the list?
yes,
Thank you.
$25.
25 cents?
$25.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh.
I'll get you a
Okay.
ticket tomorrow.
Cool,
Mark the bouncer.
yes.
Okay,
Thanks, Mark.
all right. Looking forward to it.
That should be fun.
So if anybody's picked up on this, Park and Rec is an exciting group. Historical is an exciting group. Tony and I, we are on the sewer board.
That's boring.
That is so exciting. All right. We
You're,
have-
you're important in our daily lives.
Yes.
So,
all right. Fun ahead. All right. Lincoln Highway. What do we got here?
So I don't really have a report. We have some irons in the fire that we're working on, and we'll be back to you.
Okay. Lincoln Highway. Fun group.
Uh,
All right. And Ingleside Golf Course.
a lot is happening on Ingleside Golf Course. We are in the process now, the first step in upgrading Ingleside Golf Club's irrigation system. A critical infrastructure item is the computer system that manages it. Central control of water usage does not currently exist on the golf course. We have no means to monitor the irrigation system's efficiency and prevent waste. A reliable computer program will allow us to apply water when and where it is needed, provide a daily report of the system's performance, and take away any guesswork associated with dysfunctional sprinklers or pipe breaks. This will allow for quick repairs and eliminates the Band-Aid approach that has carried the golf course for over a decade. The last time this crucial industry standard tool was available to the golf course was 2011. This program is also designed to be upgraded as new technology and even more resources become available, making the initial cost a long-term capital investment. The total cost is $24,429.40, which has been approved. This is a capital purchase and will be paid for with previously budgeted funds for 2023. The items originally earmarked for golf course bridge repairs, $8,000, tree care, $3,560, and a new driving range cart, $13,000. All three items are either resolved in-house or unnecessary at this time. So, a lot is going on. Come to our meetings. I'll be sending an email out. And thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Lorraine.
Thank you.
All right, let's kind of flip-flop here. We'll go to public participation. I know Anna Swan here. She's been patiently waiting, so we kind of, hopefully you enjoyed our meeting. Okay. So if you want, come on up to the podium. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's all
I
right.
know the feeling. believe.
Mm.
Oh,
right on our driveway. So, since 2014, I've been taking photographs to keep a catalog. I've been to the judicial court twice.
Mhm.
I had to hire, as they told me, hire someone to come and do an estimate on taking this tree down. So I did that, went to judicial court, and they never, he lives down the street,
Mhm.
never showed up.
Actually,
Said
yeah,
that- Huh?
if you can, yeah, just talking to the mic a little bit.
So that everyone can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Whoops.
Yeah, normally it's a podium, but yeah, we're
Careful.
fine. Yeah.
you might not be
Go
able to see me behind it. Anyway, I, had the man come, give us an estimate, went to court twice. 3 men that I met here in the township building said, when he found out who it was, who owned the property, it's a rental
Mhm.
next door to me. So, he said, go get a lawyer. So I did that. And then we filed for court in Westchester. Unfortunately, we got a judge that had a long-term family McCoy's fight with my lawyer. And he undressed that lawyer in front of everybody
Oh,
in
wow.
the courtroom.
Okay.
It was embarrassing, and we were just about thrown out. So I tried everything. I've even talked to the owner, take
Mhm.
down the tree. 2 people were almost hit, standing under that naked tree with just limbs blowing down.
Mhm.
I have a 2nd floor bedroom window that every time there's a storm, I stand in the window, because I can see the tree doing this.
Oh, goodness.
It's 80 foot tall.
Mhm.
It's probably 30 feet before it hits my house. And I held off having the roof done. We held off having stucco done. Maybe the tree will come down. Well, we just finished to the tune of over $50,000. And this tree, if it comes down, it's going to take a good portion of that out.
Mhm.
I expect
Wow.
it to go through part of the roof in the garage.
And
I
it-
don't
have-
know what to do. Now, I spoke to the city manager and they said that this had been on the board before, but it was voted down. All I'm asking, make some kind of ordinance, because that's all I heard. There is no ordinance. Men that I were talking to said at the end, we're just gonna have to wait for something to happen. And I'm like, what? Somebody get killed? It's right
No,
on
it's
my
not
driveway.
Mhm.
It's probably, maybe 10 feet
Mhm.
from my property line. And it's 80 foot tall.
Oh, goodness.
So it's, who's over renters? Well, the city, I was told, was over renters. And I talked to the city,
Mhm.
you know, Coatesville, because I live in, and they said, well, you know, if there was an ordinance, then we could deal with it. And I said, but you're protecting a landlord who owns 21 properties. Did research on him.
Oh, okay. Have you
I-
talked to him?
I've talked to him.
Okay.
I've tried to get him to court 3 times, and every one of those, he never showed up.
He never shows up
No,
and nothing happens?
nothing happened.
Is this a dead tree?
That's the tree. That's only part of it. That's the
Not a
upper
white
half.
birch.
Oh, my goodness.
It's, there's a fence there that was new when my husband, because it was, you know, now it's all crushed down on one spot from limbs coming out of this tree. We even took a piece of wood to the courtroom in Westchester. The caliper was big as my arm, and the
Mhm.
judge said to my lawyer, you know where you can put that piece of wood? I
Oh,
was like,
wow.
Oh, my God.
we're paying him? What's he
Wow.
doing on the, it's just, you know, there has to be some kind of regulation for,
So the tree broke your fence?
yeah, it did. Limbs came down and hit the fence and broke that, and I don't care about the fence, okay? If it falls on my side of the property, it's my problem. I
Right.
just don't want an 80-foot tree. And in the pictures, you can see the base of that tree, and it's totally rotted out. So if the tree breaks at the base,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have the
Oh,
entire thing.
goodness.
Mm-hmm.
This man has a reputation in the township. As soon as I told the 3 men that I met out there, they were like, oh, just go get a lawyer. So I did. We went to court 3 times, and absolutely nothing has happened.
Mm.
So you're the governance. Make an ordinance. If that tree was standing in the middle of his property, I wouldn't care.
Mm,
But it's so close to my house,
don't
that
blame you.
it's gonna cause some
Yeah.
harm when it does come down. It's been standing there since 2014, is
Mhm.
when it was hit. And, I can't get any cooperation out of him. He's rather contrary, so best I stay away from him, or I'll be over there in the municipal building menacing, you know, with the cuffs.
Yeah.
I've tried over and over, and I haven't gotten
Understood.
anywhere, so I know there's nothing you can do at this moment, but
Mhm.
I'm asking you to consider this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a homeowner. That property over there is a rental property. I've seen 4 families come in and out of there in the time we've lived next door.
Mm-hmm.
And, some of them have left because he refuses to do repairs.
Oh,
He
jeez.
just got tired of it and walked away and got another place to live. But think about it, if it was your mom or your, aged grandmother with that tree hanging over your house.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
You have to put yourself into that and say, well, suppose it was happening to me. Just, I can't
Yeah.
wait till something happens.
Yeah, what
The time
part
the
of,
roof was being done and the time the stucco was being done,
Mhm.
I'm out in the driveway going, don't park under this tree, because it's up close to our house.
mhm.
It's at the top of the driveway. You can drive by and come up my drive and look at it. It's really, when we had the estimate done, the arborist looks up and he said, this is a widowmaker.
Yeah.
He said, this is a really dangerous tree. He said, this easily could kill somebody. Just the limbs coming off.
Oh,
It's a
God.
white pine.
Mm.
So,
I would-
that's all I wanna say.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
Where along Fisherville Road are you? I'm just
You know
trying
where
to
the new
picture.
bridge went in?
Yeah,
Just east of
okay, that,
Callan Meeting House Road.
Uh-huh.
Our driveway is right at the end of that eastern side of that bridge.
okay.
And the driveway goes up, and there's 5 enormous white pines. But
Mhm.
my husband and I were standing in the garage during a rainstorm with our door open. It faces our driveway, and
Mhm.
he actually saw the lightning strike.
Oh,
And
really?
it was like a show. It came down that tree, busted up all the poison ivy that's growing up the tree. It was, and it also burned out a bunch of stuff in our house.
Yeah.
Electricity arced. We
oh,
lost the dryer, we lost a toaster oven, we lost the garage opener.
Mm.
So,
And
but,
that was 2014 that it happened.
Yes.
The lightning strike?
yes,
Okay.
So the property that it actually sits on is at the corner of Fisherville and Callan Meeting House.
1223. And it just, the man's a he's a landlord.
Mhm.
I told them they have the price to get it cut down.
Oh, really? At least you offered, yeah.
We're trying.
Okay.
We're trying. We're picking up limbs all the time off of these trees. Some of the trees drop limbs that are alive.
Mhm.
Some of the trees, this big dry one is, you can see it's lost a lot of wood.
Mhm.
And since it's so close, we get it all. So just think about it. Put yourself
Okay.
in my shoes
Yes.
and say, what would you do?
that's very
I'm
good.
impressed with
Thank
your
you
meeting.
very
It
much.
was wonderful. I wish I had
Aw.
teeth. Next time.
I'm glad you
I
came.
will. They look like vampire fangs,
That's all
but they
right.
don't work.
Aw,
They might
don't
bite
worry.
somebody.
All right.
Have a good evening.
All right,
Thank
nice
you.
meeting
Thank you so
Ms.
much.
Swanson.
meeting
So,
you.
Miss
Bye,
Swanson,
Miss
I have to
Swanson.
apologize. I misspoke when we talked on the phone.
Uh-oh.
Yes, Anna?
Hi, Miss Swanson. I apologize. I misspoke when we talked on the phone. The ordinance that I had told you about, it was only regarding right of ways in the township. So we have researched this since I spoke with you and we spoke with our solicitor. Unfortunately, Ms. Camp did research it and she said that we could only enforce something in our right of ways, but not on private property.
Why don't I have any protection on my property? And I believe it's because there's a missing ordinance. If it's a dangerous tree, there should be an ordinance to remove it. If it's just a tree that is bothering Karen next door, well, that's, you can't do that. This is something that is deadly.
Oh, I don't disagree
I've
and
even reached out to, county representative.
Mm.
and
So
I
was told, I'm sorry, there's no ordinance. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm gonna run for office, I swear.
Yeah, it is. It's you did the right thing by going to court, getting an attorney. It's unfortunate that the court system failed you. Because
Wow.
okay,
The judge retired? Okay, blank.
I'm not dropping names.
That's fine.
I don't do social media, so you'll never find it on there.
okay.
Okay.
Did he advise that if he could refile?
No, he suggested I come to the meeting first, and then he suggested I talk to the, insurance company over my home insurance.
Okay.
To say this is inevitable, it's gonna happen. I just don't wanna go through.
Oh, I
Yeah.
completely
that's
understand. It is very distressing. Your attorney's more than welcome to call our solicitor also and discuss that. Yeah, if you want to have him call me, I can get him in touch with our solicitor. But the research that our solicitor has done was that the township would only.
That we already have things in place, but like everything else on this planet, there's always progress. There's always more information coming out.
Mhm.
That's what this is.
Mhm.
That if there is a landlord who owns 21 properties, Lord knows it's gonna be loaded, you know, address what's going on there. While this tree was doing all this, there were 2 children living over there. And not only that, when I called and told them that the tree's been hit by lightning in 2014, I told them at the same time, there are wild birds living in the attic. The woman who lived there had little kids, I had a granddaughter, and her and I were talking, she was like, I went up in the attic, and this giant woodpecker was up there. Now, she'd been there a couple of years, then the hole that the woodpecker made, wild English starlings, and they nest in something about the size of this table. It's a
Oh, yeah.
community
Oh,
nest.
God.
So,
Ours.
there are birds, wild birds, living in the attic. Shortly after that, those people moved out. When the new man moved out, well, he was a repairman. He was the guy that was renting the house, but he had to do all the renovation to seal off what the birds did, and, he's a really negligent landlord. And I don't want to be
Negligent
on the news
landlord.
because somebody in my driveway died for one of my family.
I- It is very distressing. I mean, it just, you know, we are aware of the property. We are aware of the individual. We've had our own legal issues. That's, okay. Well, again, if you, Mhm.
That's the tree. It is so close to my property that when it comes, I'm just, you know.
it's very,
I'm a senior at this point, and stress isn't just not one of my.
Yep.
fortes.
if you want to have your attorney call, if you want to have him get in touch with me and I can put him in touch with our solicitor. Yeah. Oh, that's,
I've tried everything,
Yep.
and you know, when the tree first got hit, it had bark,
Mhm.
but now that tree, as you can see, is totally bare.
Right.
The base of the tree is totally rotten.
Mhm.
This you could almost pull out like.
Wind might blow it over.
So,
Mm.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know if these guys have so much power, but when I told those 3 men, they were like, oh, just look over there. So, anyway.
Yeah. I'm sorry that the
Yeah.
court
That's
system
okay.
Yeah.
That's all
didn't
right.
work in your favor.
Most
Alright.
lawyers are made to make money. Can't make no money off dead trees.
All right, thank you so
Thank
much.
y'all
Night,
so
be
much.
safe.
Good night.
That's tough. That's a horrible situation to be in.
Kristen, and maybe Ray, I mean, under our codes department, I mean, you know, if somebody has tall grass, it's an issue. I mean, if you got a dead tree, that is a safety issue, do we have anything?
So again, we had the solicitor review this only in the right of way.
Has
But,
to
It's-
be
but
in
if
the
somebody,
can
you know,
you-
I've had a violation on me because my grass was too tall and my neighbor wanted to report me.
And that's in the National
the-
Property Maintenance. Ray, if you feel
Yeah.
to,
Yeah,
Yeah,
hey, I'm just reaching here.
Sure.
Go ahead, Ray.
Unfortunately, Commissioner, I mean, we, no exaggeration, in the summertime, we probably have resident disputes about trees and limbs falling and trees that are leaning between 2 properties. And we've researched this several times, and it unfortunately is a civil issue. The property maintenance code does not recognize that. We've talked about whether there would be legality to adopt an ordinance. And I think when you speak to Kristen Camp, you'll find that there's a lot of, like, we would be probably in court on a regular basis just for that, because we have the complaint all the time. For me to, you know, in this case, I mean, I was out at the property. I've been out at the property several times. I actually double checked just today. You know, the pictures are very true. Other times, people complain and say the tree's dead, and the tree's not dead. I would have to, you know, in many cases, the township would have to hire somebody to come out and determine whether the tree was dead. That's why it's really a civil issue. In this case, unfortunately, there have been times, and in this case particularly, several years ago when I told the resident, I'm the one that told the resident to, that, she certainly could get a lawyer to try to deal with it civilly. And I did talk to the property owner, and, the property owner, pretty much thumbed their nose at me.
It's truly a shame. In fact, I have neighbors where, one of them did have a tree that was rotted out and it looked like it was going to fall on their property. And the other resident went over and asked them to take care of it, and they took care of it. That's just being a good neighbor.
This individual is not that type of person.
I have a question. Does the tree at all encroach onto the property? Is it hanging over? Because I believe that you're allowed to cut it if it's hanging over your property. You're legally allowed, aren't you?
Yeah, Commissioner, that's part of the problem. That's again a civil issue. That I agree with you. I have checked with the lawyer, and that is true. But that's why the tree across property lines is such a vague area, and such an area that the township, it's very difficult for the township to get involved in that.
Just a question. There's no, I guess this would be a question for Kristen Camp. There's no like legal gymnastics we could try and issue a citation and see what happens.
Well, I mean, if you direct me, I mean, I certainly can make another attempt. The problem is there is literally no ordinance that I can point to.
Nothing under the property maintenance code for dead trees or
not. Yeah, not at all. And I mean, I'll make a stretch. I mean, I have no issues with that. I've done that in the past, and again, this in this particular case, that has not worked. I have no problems attempting that again, but there's.
I think we're going into some legal.
Yeah, I'm
not comfortable with us speaking about here. I'd rather her attorney speak with Ms. Camp and let's see what her decision is.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, is there some vague language that we could issue a citation and see what happens and see where it lands?
And also,
I think we should just let the solicitor look at that.
Fine. I would like to look at, I mean, if there's any other townships that deal with this, maybe they have something different.
For me, the overall takeaway from this is something that we've discussed a few times is we have a lot of rental properties here. Maybe we need to get some stronger language in how they have to maintain those properties, because some of them, places look great and some of them look horrible. And it's the horror, and people are paying them money. Maybe we need some stricter rules regarding landlords. So,
a lot of encroachments
and the fact that they spent all the money for
Yeah.
the legal fees and the gentleman doesn't even show up for the court date and get away with it. That's appalling.
there is a hand up in the audience.
Oh, is there a hand up? Ms.
There
Denny?
is.
There is?
Yes, there is.
Yes. Who do we have?
Mr. Parr?
Tom, welcome.
Good evening, everybody. How you doing?
Good evening,
Good, how are
Mr.
you?
Parr. You having potato chips?
No potato chips. No, I won't tell you what I just ate, but that's okay. Tom Parr, 582 Lloyd Avenue. I just wanted to echo Commissioner Evans' comments. I wanted to personally thank Ray, his staff, Kristen Denny, her staff, and the entire Board of Commissioners for helping in getting Spackman Farm tour ready. Your cooperation is key to making this tour, which is 6 weeks today, an absolute success for us, the commission, the Historic Commission, and the township itself. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Parr.
you, Tom. I know you are heavily involved, so I appreciate all the efforts there.
Thank you.
And I think Ray appreciates the conversations you guys are having too. So this is great. But yeah, we're all in this together, as Mark always says. So let's make it happen.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right, additional business. And at this time,
I have additional business. I'm sorry. My additional business is a call for adjournment.
Ooh.
Like it.
I was gonna say, you got 30 seconds. All right, but, well, even though
Wait, is
Lorraine
this a
stepped
meeting
out,
with Paul in charge that is going to end at 9 o'clock?
quick.
901.
Okay.
9:01.
there you
All right,
go.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.
All right.